Oh yeah, can you put this on her? She's gonna clip.
The phone?
Yeah, it's already recording.
You know how to do these?
Nope.
Oh, okay, I'm just gonna clip it on you then.
Thanks.
I'm just the messenger. It's kind of falling down on her.
Can you make it so it's not falling down on her?
I'm trying.
Fix it.
Basically, you just clip it.
There.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, cool. You ready?
No.
All right, now you are.
What are you asking me?
I'm gonna just ask you a few questions. It's just to find opportunities in the area that aren't being addressed for our community.
Okay.
It's for internal use. It's not going to be shared really, unless if you want it to be shared. But like if the Timpani Center wants to, if they get grants or something, but they don't know how to spend it, instead of like they once got a grant and instead of getting like water wheelchairs for people that are normal, they got oversized one, and there's only one person who needs an oversized one, and the budget went to waste. So stuff like that. Okay. All right, you ready?
I'll do my best.
All right, yeah, and you can try to make the answers short and sweet because we're running short on time. Connor's gonna be here.
Okay.
Right? But also give as much detail as you want, as you can.
How many questions are there?
100. Nah, not 100. Just, all right, you ready?
I guess.
Is your thing on? Okay, cool. What's your name?
Helena Knappen.
Are you currently working?
I'm not currently working.
When working with a physical therapist or medical professional, how do you define value that they bring to you?
I think creativity and problem solving is most valuable, and just like approaching your problems in ways like that aren't obvious to you.
What is the next milestone you're trying to reach in your recovery?
I think the next milestone for me would be getting back to work.
What challenges do you face going back into the workplace?
I think one of the biggest challenges about going back to work would be just that I need a lot of accommodations and the speed of things.
What if they require lifting heavy things or reaching high places for your work? Would that be a challenge?
Those would not be jobs I look for.
So that would minimize your options for work, I assume.
Yes, but like heavy lifting and reaching for items aren't really involved in the kinds of jobs I'd want.
I see you have a walker there. Do you have any other mobility devices?
I do use a manual wheelchair or a power chair for farther distances.
For some clients and patients, they feel like the only human interaction they get is transactional. When they go to a doctor appointment, for example, working with an intern or a physical therapist, even a caregiver, they have to pay for a caregiver to be around them. And because they lack driving and they can't get out on their own, a lot of the human interaction they get is transactional. Do you ever feel that way?
I don't, since my caregiver is my mom and my family. So that doesn't feel transactional. And then I'm lucky that I still maintained the friends I had before.
Do you feel more socially isolated than you did before your injury?
I think definitely right at the beginning, I felt more socially isolated due to my own embarrassment about how I was. but I think that it's decreased over time.
But you also are part of a traumatic brain injury support group
Correct.
and you meet up. So does that help your social connection?
Yes, I think meeting up with other brain injury survivors also feels very supportive because you learn from each other and how to navigate challenges.
What challenges do you face reoccurring and there's not a solution for it right now?
I think transportation is generally recurring challenge that I'm always dependent on someone else.
Healthcare adherence rates and treatment plans hover around the 50% range. People are often prescribed treatment plans but don't follow through. What do you think medical professionals can do to increase that number?
That is a good question.
I'll give you an example. There was an interview I did yesterday with a medical professional, and they said that a big barrier to that issue is that they want to remain professional. They don't want to interfere with the people's personal lives. So there could be a professionalism there. What about accountability? Just reminding, hey, or a support group.
That's tricky because I do think the whole adherence thing kind of varies just depending on personality of the patient. And personally, I have the kind of personality that follows through on things I'm told to do.
That's a fair answer. The person I asked yesterday, the medical professional, he said it's the whole you can lead a horse to water, you can't force him to drink type thing. What are the most common rehabilitation goals that you see with other traumatic brain injury survivors? I know you're part of the support group, so.
I think definitely just increasing mobility, walking further, just endurance, being able to do things for longer. And also a lot of people trying to immerse themselves more in the community.
That kind of falls back on the whole transportation you mentioned earlier as well, I assume. With the whole walking, improving gait training and distance walking, do you think specialized robotics could help? Have you seen those robotic machines?
I have.
Could that be beneficial to achieve those functional walking goals?
I think those could be helpful, to kind of show your muscles how they need to move.
Possibly get more repetition in a safe environment, build a mind-body connection.
Yeah.
The mind-body connection is something that we can really prioritize with the traumatic brain injury because we can relearn. It's not like our spinal cord is cut off. So with the brain, at least you can rewire the brain and learn more.
And what you said about in a safe environment, I think is a big thing too. Because there are things I want to be able to work on, but I need to have someone with me, or I physically can't because it's too dangerous.
Knowing that this robotic training does exist in California, but it's not available in San Jose, how does it feel?
It feels unfortunate that it exists, but we don't have access to it.
It's strange that we live in the tech capital of the world and we don't have access to that robotic technology. If a
Yes.
private grant covered 20 sessions of robotic therapy, would that accelerate your milestones?
Yes, and I think significantly improve my confidence as well.
You can't speak for other traumatic brain injury survivors, like in your group, your support group, for example, but do you think it could help anyone in that group as well?
Definitely. And I think there would be a strong interest in that too.
In your experience, are financial constraints a main barrier to ongoing rehab?
Yes. And also just the way the system is set up, that you don't have that like support, and it all comes down to money.
In your opinion, is funding for post-insurance recovery once the insurance is cut off or doesn't cover specific technology like robotics, would you consider the funding for this accessibility a missing piece in our community?
Definitely, yeah.
On a scale 1 through 10, how important is access to grants for specialized balance and gait training in our community?
10 being very high.
Correct. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest.
I would say like a 10.
On a scale 1 through 10, how vital is funding once insurance stops completely?
A 10 as well.
On a scale 1 through 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how vital is access to gait training technology in our community?
I think a 10.
How would a private grant for rehabilitation affect the long-term health for your goals?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Of course. How would if a grant covered 20 sessions of robotic therapy, for example, paid for, how much would that accelerate your recovery?
I think it would significantly improve it, just being able to do new things that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Based on your experience, how could businesses improve their accessibility in their establishments?
A big one is just having automatic doors. I really hate it when businesses don't. Not just to get into the business, but the bathrooms.
If businesses improved their infrastructure, like having automatic doors to get in and out of the bathrooms and the front doors, would you feel more likely to support those businesses than others?
Yeah, I definitely feel more comfortable in those spaces.
What do you know now that you wish you knew day 1 of your recovery?
That's a hard question. What do I wish I knew? I think maybe something along the lines of like not necessarily trying to get back to who you were before, but figuring out how to adapt your life to the things you want to do, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Adapting to what you want to do and living your new life as who you are now is a big part. So what is your message to the newly injured person or someone who's just starting to navigate life after injury?
I think a really important piece is finding a good support system and realizing that you can't do it on your own, and it's okay to ask for help, and people want to help you.
Currently, specialized training for rehabilitation and physical therapy in general hovers around $130 per hour, while us on is disability or social security, our income hovers around $600 a month. How does that feel with the future of your recovery?
It honestly feels pretty hopeless. Like, we'll help you, but not enough to actually help you, just to kind of stay alive and like make it seem like we're helping you, but you won't be able to like get the help you need.
On top of the $600 average of income that people on disability and social security receive, some of us receive food stamps, and that averages $7 a day for food. So how does it feel knowing that you have to prioritize either your life or eating your next meal?
It's just very unrealistic. Like, eating properly off $7 a day is just not possible.
What is a missing community resource that would most improve the quality of your life today?
That's another very hard question. I think a big missing piece is actually social support services, and just like maybe there are resources out there, but it's up to you to find them, and you don't really have help getting access to those.
So basically, there's not a central resource hub that has everything available
Yeah.
to help people in our condition. So if local leaders and businesses teamed up to build a foundation that provides the resources, a central hub of resources, and also grants to improve mobility, teach you gait training, walk again, and cover the pain points that you mentioned before, how would that change the way of your future? How would that impact your future?
Can you repeat the first part?
Yeah, sorry, that was long-winded. So if businesses teamed up and built a foundation that provided grants to provide gait training, balance training, how would that change the outcome of your goals, of your future?
That's tough.
You mentioned earlier that you would at least feel confident and safe.
Yeah.
So maybe you would, I don't want to speak for you, but maybe you'd get more repetition, more accelerated progress because you can walk more in a safe environment. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people view robotics and gait training as a luxury. Do you view it as a luxury or a necessity for your recovery?
I think seeing it as a luxury is kind of like gatekeeping. Like, we have the technology, so we should like make it available to the people who need it.
And the people who need it are low income as well.
Yeah.
If you could speak directly to CEOs, city officials, health workers, physical therapists, interns, anyone who wants to listen, what is something you would like to share with them?
I think an important thing is to remember that your patients are real people and to treat them as a whole person rather than the one thing you're targeting. Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with God?
Yes.
Can you share an example of how he has worked in your life?
It's not very specific, but just like people doing things out of like the goodness of their hearts and like offering assistance when they don't need to and there's no incentive to do that. I think you can see God in them in those moments.
And then, do you have any picture someone getting discharged from the hospital right now? Do you have any words of wisdom, advice, thoughts that you want to share with other patients getting discharged from the hospital with traumatic brain injury or
Well, it's kind of like I said before, finding a support system right away because you'll need it.
do you have tips for caregivers?
I would say connecting with other caregivers so that you can kind of like talk things out with them and not feel isolated or like guilty about any feelings you're having.
What about burnout? Do you ever experience burnout in your recovery?
For sure.
How do you stay motivated during times of burnout?
It doesn't sound very motivating, but just telling myself to suck it up.
Suck it up. Tomorrow's another day. Just get through this one.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts of people who feel like they can't suck it up? They feel hopeless. There's nothing good can come out of it.
Well, I think like taking breaks and allowing yourself to do that, because recovery is a full-time job, so you need vacation sometimes, and like that's okay.
For some people, recovery is a full-time job, like you just mentioned. So how do you plan on balancing work life with your recovery?
I don't think they're necessarily two separate things. I think they can be integrated so that working on one like helps the other.
I agree. Like occupational therapy, that's whole getting into the workforce. And the end goal, I guess, is to get functional again and
Yeah.
become the best you can be. All right, that concludes our interview. Do you have anything else you would like to say to the community before we conclude?
I do not.
Cool. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.